My beloved child, I plead with you, prepare your heart for this. For it is not easy to hear if you continue living as you are now, your future will be as dark as a sky without light. Not because I will it so, but because you have chosen a path without me. If you keep carrying what was never meant for you, you will become a prisoner, locked in a cell built from anxiety and the need to control. I am here. But you must decide, step out of these chains or let your soul slowly decay in the land of fear. You have traded peace for the illusion that you can control the future. You imprison yourself in scenarios that have not happened, and your soul is drained before dawn even breaks. You live as though everything will fall apart if you stop calculating. But the truth is, it is worry itself that is unraveling everything. You long for a sign from me, but your fear-clouded mind has muffled my voice. I call you out of this darkness, for if you don't, you will stay lost in a maze you've built yourself. You are weary from striving against a future you were never meant to manage. You think that imagining every possible outcome will keep you safe, but it is this very act that is draining the life out of you. Behind every plan B you devise, is a restless heart, a heart that has not fully placed its trust in me. Every calculated step does not make you stronger, it slowly erodes you in silence. I never called you to be the savior of your own life. But out of fear of failure, fear of losing control, you've taken on a role only I can fulfill. You do not believe I am working because you cannot see it, but faith is not seeing it, is knowing it is certainty. I am not limited by time or circumstances, or your understanding. But you are limiting yourself when you reject my hand simply because it doesn't move in the way you expect. Worry distorts truth, making the future look like a pit ready to devour you. It whispers in your ear, he's not moving, or everything is slipping out of control. But that is not my voice. I never promised you would understand everything, but I did promise I would never leave you. When you choose control over me, you are placing your trust in nothingness. Come back, my child. I am here with arms open wide, waiting for you to let go of every care and walk in my rest. My child, I see your weariness, not because you are doing too much, but because your mind never rests. Though your body is here, your heart is far away, lost in thoughts of what could happen, rehearsing the worst that might come. You live so much in your head that you are no longer truly present. You are trading my presence today for a safety that never truly comes from the futures you try to manage. You think that if you plan far enough, prepare well enough, everything will go smoothly. But the truth is, the more you chase after a controlled future, the more you lose the peace of the present. And that peace is found only when you pause, take a deep breath, and realize I am here. Do you remember my people in the wilderness? When they had nothing, no home, no land, no harvest, I fed them with manna from heaven. But I did not give them food for a week or a month. I gave them just enough for one day. Whoever tried to store it for the next day saw it rot, breed worms, and stink. Not because I was harsh, but because I wanted them to learn one thing: trust. I wanted them to know that day by day I would provide. That each morning as they stepped out of their tents, they would see I had already come before them. I had prepared. But if they didn't believe me, they would hoard, they would scheme, and they would live in fear of days not yet come, and in doing so they would miss the sweetness of today's manna. My child, you are holding on to too much spiritual manna, the mental scripts, the backup plans, the dialogues you rehearse for moments that may never arrive. But in doing so, you live as though I will not provide again, as though I could forget you. You are trying to be your own savior, saving yourself from a future you fear I am not good enough to lead. You don't say it with words, but your actions reveal it. I know why you do it, because you're afraid, because you've been hurt, because you never want to be caught off guard again. But child, I am not human. I do not break promises. I do not come late. I do not fall asleep. I am not indifferent to your future. Look at today again. Today is where I am. It is where miracles are taking root. It is where my grace is sufficient for you. Do not miss today by staring into tomorrow. Do not let the what-ifs drown out the already given. Do not let fear speak louder than my voice within you. I am here, and I will be there in your tomorrow when you walk into it. But only if you go there with me, not with worry, but with trust. You do not need to carry every scenario. You only need to carry yourself with a heart ready to believe. Just as manna fell each morning, I will come again, always enough, always on time. My beloved, I see you writhing under a kind of anxiety the world calls by a noble name, responsibility. You believe that if you don't worry, it means you don't care. That if you don't plan every option, it means you're reckless, unprepared, unloving. But child, there is a fine line between wisdom and fear, between faithfulness and a soul straining beyond its limits. There are things I've called you to steward, yes, but there are burdens only I can carry. True responsibility flows from love and obedience. False responsibility disguised as duty flows from a place where you don't believe I will complete what I've begun. You quietly hold on to burdens I never assigned, and then you wonder why you are so tired. You tell yourself, if I let go, who will hold it all together? But don't you know your hands were only ever meant to carry what I give you for today, not the weight of the entire future? I never called you to rescue the whole world around you. I simply called you to obey one step at a time in the portion given to you. As for what's beyond you, leave it to me. As I have said, commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 3:7-5. Committing this is your part. Acting this is mine. When you try to do both, you step into the role of one only I can fulfill. I know what confuses you most is the silence. When nothing seems to move, you feel you must take over, fix things, make it happen. But there are seasons when I choose silence, so your faith grows not based on circumstance, but on my nature. In those times the enemy whispers, if you don't worry, you're neglecting your duty. But child, worry has never been the sign of faithfulness. True faithfulness comes from deep trust in me. From the rest, only those who know their Father can enter. The more quiet you become in me, the more assured your actions become. It's not abandonment, it's surrender in full awareness. You once thought that always planning, always anticipating, always staying one step ahead was a kind of wisdom. But if it makes your mind heavy, steals your sleep, fills your heart with what-ifs, then it is no longer wisdom, it is a burden. True responsibility does not deplete you. What comes from me always makes room for rest. Anything that leaves you fearful, anxious, or on edge does not come from me. I never asked you to sacrifice your soul to preserve an image of responsibility. I want you to serve from fullness, not from emptiness. And when you trust me with the parts you cannot control, your heart will be lighter, your steps more steady. Remember, you are not your own father, you are not the final pillar. You are simply a child, a dearly loved, deeply kept child. If I am Father, then I am also the one responsible for you. Let me carry the heavy part. Let your part be obedience. This is the beautiful division in our relationship, not because you are weak, but because you trust. Child worry is not the proof of love. It is the sign of a faith being suffocated. Let it go. Let me carry it. Love from a heart at rest. Child, something quietly happens in the soul when you hold too tightly to everything. You begin to lose connection with me. Not because I moved away, but because you turned toward another direction. The direction of control, of calculation, of striving. Your soul grows unfamiliar with. My gentleness can no longer hear. My voice clearly no longer feels. My peace flowing like before, all because you believe more in your ability than in my faithfulness. You start looking for answers in yourself instead of returning to the one who is the source of all wisdom. Control clouds, your spiritual vision muffles the whispers of grace, and you no longer see me clearly. When you live always ready for battle with the future, you close your heart to the gentleness I want to give. You reject rest, thinking it's surrender. But you don't realize that by controlling, you are shutting the door to grace. You don't let me lead because you fear I won't go the way you want. But you don't know that your way often leads only in circles of exhaustion, confusion, and loneliness of soul. That's why I say to you, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 4:6-10. Not do more to know me, but be still. Not control, but know that I reign. You once asked why you can't hear my voice anymore. But do you know a mind filled with the noise of worry cannot receive the gentleness of my word? I don't shout into your heart, I whisper. And control makes your heart so loud that it drowns out every spiritual breath trying to touch you. Every time you choose your own way, every time you reject my guidance because it isn't logical, another layer of dust settles on your heart, not because I withdrew, but because you drifted. But child, with just one turn back, I am still here. I never left. I know you long to be near me, but you've tried to come close with your own strength, through perfection, through plans you think I would approve. You don't need to be capable or get everything right or arrive at the perfect time to be near me. You only need to surrender. That is how you return to the true source of life, me. Control makes you believe you must prove, uphold, and understand everything. But I don't love you for any of that. I love you simply because you are mine. And my love does not flow through the channels of control, it flows freely through the waters of surrender. Let me say this gently but clearly: if you continue to control, you will burn out. Not just in your body, but your soul will dry up. Not because you are doing it wrong, but because you are living from the wrong source. Grace cannot flow where it is not given space. You must release, not because it's easy, but because it's life. You do not need to hold everything together. That is my job. A father's job. The one who always sees ahead, who always goes before. Let me return to my rightful place in your heart, as the center, the source, the guide. Then grace will flow again. My beloved child, I know there are times when you pray and then wait for a sign, an open door, a dream, a word of encouragement at the right moment. Something to let you know, I am still at work. I understand that longing. You are human and you need the tangible in a world that often feels invisible. But my child, if your faith only stands when a sign appears, then it has not yet been built on a solid foundation. Signs are a gift, but they are not the core. Signs may come and go, but my nature, faithful, unchanging, never wavers. Do you remember Thomas, one of my close disciples? When others told him they had seen me resurrected, he would not believe until he could touch the wounds in my hands and side. And I allowed it, for my heart is patient and full of mercy. But I told him then, and I tell you now, blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. John 2:029-2:2. True faith does not always need to see, yet it stands firm. It does not require a daily sign, for it is anchored not in what I do in each moment, but in who I am. I see how when you don't receive the sign you hoped for, doubt begins to creep in. You think my silence means absence. You think that if you don't feel something obvious, then surely you're on the wrong path. But no, my child, sometimes it is in the silence that I am refining your faith like gold in the fire. I am teaching you to trust my voice, not just the moments I stir your emotions. I am showing you how to walk by faith, not by a string of comforting reassurances. Because only then will your faith mature, only then will it stand when the storms come. Faith, my dear one, does not grow in the safety of what is seen. It grows in the dark when everything feels uncertain, yet you still choose to hold my hand when you cannot see me, cannot clearly hear me, cannot feel me, but still choose to believe I am there. That is where faith becomes a tree with deep roots, not a reed swayed by the wind. Do not worry if you don't always receive special signs. Know this, my nature is still love, still faithful, still unwavering in my nearness. If you cling to that truth, even if no door opens, you will not be shaken. Let me ask you this, not to scold, but to gently remind. Are you seeking signs, or are you seeking me? If you follow me only when everything is clear, then you're following conditions, not me. But if you follow even when you don't know what lies ahead, then you are walking in true relationship. That is what I invite you into. Not a journey paved with endless confirmations, but a bond with the one who never changes. This is the kind of faith I am building in you, a faith grounded in my nature, not dependent on my visible acts. I know your heart is not always calm. There are days you long to hear my voice, to feel my guidance, to find peace in knowing I am near. But in that waiting, another voice creeps in, one that is not gentle or loving like mine, but urgent, sharp, relentless, and full of fear. It is the voice of anxiety. It speaks loudly and often drowning out the whispers I place in your spirit. And because you hear it every day, it begins to feel more familiar than my own. You think that voice is reasonable, that it's a timely warning, but anxiety will never lead you to peace. It inflates every what if, revives old wounds, predicts pain that hasn't come and may never come, and forces you to brace for the worst. In that noise, my voice, the voice of life, peace, and truth, becomes faint. You listen to anxiety so much that you begin to believe it. You act because of it. You direct your life according to it. You live as though it is truth and I am a distant idea. I want you to remember what I once said. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. John 1:027. But when your mind is consumed with worry, you can no longer distinguish the voice of the shepherd from that of the thief. Anxiety is the thief. It steals peace, clouds, clarity, and distorts my image in your soul. It makes you think I'm delaying that. My silence means I don't care. But my child, I have never taken my eyes off you. It's just that your mind has been veiled by thick clouds of confusion and fear. You've wondered, why don't I hear God the way I used to? And I want to gently say it's because you've been listening more to another voice. You've let anxiety speak into every decision, intrude into every night's rest, and influence every step I have called you to take. It is holding you back from walking in faith. It is choking the simplicity I placed in your heart. I don't condemn you for this. I simply want you to see it, because when you see, you can return. When you become still, I am still waiting, not with anger, but with open arms. Come close to me, not by forcing the anxious voice away on your own strength. Just whisper, Lord, please speak again. I want to hear you. And then be still. Don't resist. Don't overanalyze. Don't try to guess what's next. Just be still. And you will hear not with your ears, but with your heart. My voice is not loud, not forceful, but when you recognize it, it will take root deep within you. It is the voice of the Father, not threatening, not rushed, not demanding, but gently inviting you back to true life, to true peace, to me. My beloved child, in this world when everything around you becomes blurry, noisy, or too fast, you may feel left behind, drowned by the voices in your mind, or lost in a maze of crossroads you don't know how to navigate. But amid all that chaos, I am still here, not far, not absent, not silent in the way the world understands silence, but fully present in every breath you take, every unshed tear, every unspoken prayer. You may have gone through seasons where endurance was all you had. There may have been days when breathing was all you could manage, and hope felt unreachable. And I saw it all. I saw how you fought in silence, how you got back up after every stumble, how you longed for a confirmation that you were not invisible. I know what wounded your heart. I witnessed you pretending to be strong just to hide the brokenness inside. Not for 1 second were you alone. Every step you thought you dragged through the darkness was within my tender gaze. You often think that your mistakes, your missteps, have caused all the good things to slip away. But I tell you the truth, nothing in my plan for you is destroyed just because you stumbled. No one, no failure, no closed door can undo what I have etched into your destiny. You see time as a tyrant reminding you of what you should have done, the milestones you should have reached, the opportunities you regret missing. But I, who transcend every timeline, do not measure you by clocks or calendars. I measure you by the heart. To me, yesterday does not hold you back, today does not trap you, and tomorrow does not make you tremble. For I am the unchanging one. From the beginning to eternity I remain the same, and because of that, the hope I've planned for you has never left your story. Even when you feel late, lost, or fallen, my eyes have never left you for a moment. In my gaze, you are not someone trying to earn love, but someone who was already loved before trying ever began. My love doesn't come and go like emotion. It is an unchanging truth. Don't let the whispers of inadequacy steer your heart. When they say you're not enough, not fast enough, not strong enough, let me remind you, it is in your weakness that I perform wonders. When you feel like all that's left of you are fragments, I see beauty hidden in every crack. I do not avoid the broken places, I embrace them fully. And from what others call ruins, I build a house of hope. From ashes I breathe new fire, not to destroy, but to purify. Don't rush to judge yourself just because others seem to move faster, go further, or appear more blessed. You were never meant to be a copy of anyone else. I don't paint the same picture for everyone. I am painting you with colors unique to your soul, with depths you've yet to understand. Some songs are only heard in the night. Some flowers bloom only in the cold. And some souls like yours only begin to release their fragrance when all else seems to have closed. You are not late. You are being shaped in the very moment I've ordained. What you call delay is simply not yet. What you think is lost is merely being held for a better time. You don't see, but I see. You don't understand, but I understand. And in all that uncertainty, I am still working silently, faithfully, surely, to bring forth the very best for you. When you think you've missed your chance, remember I am not only the giver of opportunities, I am the maker of them. I can bring forth something new right where you thought all was barren. I can carve a path where no eye sees a way. I can use even what was meant to break you to shape a stronger, deeper, more radiant version of you. I do not judge your past, I heal it. I do not condemn your missteps, I use them as stepping stones toward the place I've prepared for you. You may think the past years have been wasted, but I can redeem every hour, every minute. No pain is meaningless in my hands. Every tear holds weight. Every wound has a chapter of restoration. I am not in a hurry, and I am never late. When you are ready to release what you've been clinging to, you'll see that my hand was always there waiting for yours. You don't have to strive to be accepted by me. You only have to remain. Remain in my love. Remain in the safety that nothing else can offer. Remain not through perfection, but through trust. For I do not need you to be perfect in order to love you. I love you in order to make you whole. So if you're sighing in the dark, wondering whether you're still worthy, still on time, still have a chance, I say to you, yes. Yes for you. Yes because of you. Yes because of me. Beloved child, just one step back and you will see I never left. I have always stood where you turned away. I still whisper gentle words amid the clamor of the world. My hand still rests on your heart every morning, even when you do not feel it. And if you choose to believe once more, or perhaps for the first time, that I truly love you, that there is indeed a good and perfect plan for your life, then you will see the light never went out. It was only obscured by the clouds of doubt, and today I am blowing them away. Let me love you again, even when you don't yet know how to love yourself. Let me lead you not to where you think you need to be, but to where you truly belong. That place has no regret, no fear, no condition, only peace, purpose, and me. That is where you truly live. And that place I am ready to welcome you. My dear child, I know there are unnamed spaces in your heart, an aching uncertainty, a quiet worry no one truly understands. Each morning faith and fear seem to wrestle for room in your chest. You think of what might go wrong, the risks, the failures, the feeling of being left behind in a world that never stops moving. You try to predict, analyze, plan your way out of pain. But in all that striving, your soul begins to drift away from me. Because you are living in an imagined future while I, the one who loves you, stand here in your present arms wide open. I hear your midnight whispers, the ones that tremble in silence. What if I fail? What if all my efforts are in vain? What if I'm abandoned, forgotten, and gently I ask you, but what if you are not? What if every moment, even the ones that don't go your way, are being woven together by my loving hand? What if in the delays, the confusion, the dead ends, I am quietly preparing something better than you've ever hoped for? You cannot see all that I am doing in the unseen realm. You don't hear the conversations I am orchestrating, the hearts I am softening, the doors I am gently unlocking, waiting for the perfect moment. But I promise you this, all things work together for good to those who love God, not some things, but all things. Even pain, even failure, even the long silence you're enduring. I never stop working even when you see nothing. The quietest moments are often when I am paving the way the most. You don't need full understanding to rest. You only need to know that I, your Creator, have a clear plan, never confused, never chaotic. I do not gamble, I do not guess. Everything I do is precise and purposeful down to the breath. My timing is not just right, it is perfect. It is never late, never early. It arrives when your heart is deep enough, your character strong enough, and the readiness I planted in you meets my purpose like a sacred symphony. You will never miss what is yours if you walk with me. I know you are weary, because you are trying to carry tomorrow's weight with today's strength. But child, I never asked you to do that. That is not your burden to bear. Just today, I ask you only to trust me today. Just today. Tomorrow will bring new strength. Tomorrow will bring fresh grace. And I, the one who has been with you since before the morning, will provide as I always have. As long as you try to live the whole week in a single day, you will feel exhausted. But if you learn to live moment by moment with me, your soul will find rest. You fear you've missed your chance, that you're too slow, that others have passed you by. But I do not measure your life by the pace of others. I am not hurried. I am not rushed. I tend to every season of your soul like a gardener tending each tiny seed. There are things I must dig up, old wounds, the need to control hidden insecurities, fear of abandonment. There are things I must prune, pride, the urge to please everyone, dependence on human approval. And then I begin to sow again patience, trust, the courage to wait. Not waiting in emptiness, but waiting in hope. My child, I see the doubt in your eyes when the silence lasts too long. But have you ever thought, like a seed buried in the soil, there must be a time of darkness and quiet before life bursts forth? Just because you haven't bloomed doesn't mean you are dead. Just because your shape is not yet defined doesn't mean I have forgotten you. I am deepening your roots because I am preparing you not just for one season of bloom, but for lasting fruit. Those who rise quickly may also fall quickly, but you I am building with stone. Do not compare your timing to another's time. My timing for you is one of a kind. You feel like you need to do more, run faster, become good enough to be loved, to be useful. But my love is not given based on your perfection. It is given because you are mine and I am your Father. Nothing you do can make me love you more, and nothing you do can make me love you less. My love does not waver, does not depend on highs or lows or performance. I love you on the days you shine, and I love you on the days when breathing is all you can do. So, dear child, if ever you feel slowed, delayed, don't be discouraged. Sometimes delay is protection. Sometimes I close a door not to punish you, but to shield you from what you are not yet ready to face. Sometimes I ask you to wait, not because you haven't done enough, but because I am preparing something that exceeds your imagination. I do nothing halfway. Every time I build, I lay foundations deep. And you are a precious work in my hands. You may not see it all, but I see. You may not hear it all, but I am speaking. Not through noise, but through the deep quiet of your soul. When you stop running, when you sit and breathe, you will sense me there. Do not fear silence or slowness or the unknown, because I, the one who knows all, sees all, understands all, am with you. And that is everything you truly need, beloved child. Just one step back and you will see I never left. I have always stood where you turned away. I still whisper gentle words amid the clamor of the world. My hand still rests on your heart every morning, even when you do not feel it. And if you choose to believe once more, or perhaps for the first time, that I truly love you, that there is indeed a good and perfect plan for your life, then you will see the light never went out. It was only obscured by the clouds of doubt, and today I am blowing them away. Let me love you again, even when you don't yet know how to love yourself. Let me lead you not to where you think you need to be, but to where you truly belong. That place has no regret, no fear, no condition, only peace, purpose, and me. That is where you truly live. And that place I am ready to welcome you. My dear child, I know there are unnamed spaces in your heart, an aching uncertainty, a quiet worry no one truly understands. Each morning, faith and fear seem to wrestle for room in your chest. You think of what might go wrong, the risks, the failures, the feeling of being left behind in a world that never stops moving. You try to predict, analyze, plan your way out of pain. But in all that striving, your soul begins to drift away from me, because you are living in an imagined future while I, the one who loves you, stand here in your present arms wide open. I hear your midnight whispers, the ones that tremble in silence. What if I fail? What if all my efforts are in vain? What if I'm abandoned, forgotten, and gently I ask you, but what if you are not? What if every moment, even the ones that don't go, your way are being woven together by my loving hand? What if in the delays, the confusion, the dead ends, I am quietly preparing something better than you've ever hoped for? You cannot see all that I am doing in the unseen realm. You don't hear the conversations I am orchestrating, the hearts I am softening, the doors I am gently unlocking, waiting for the perfect moment. But I promise you this, all things work together for good to those who love God, not some things, but all things. Even pain, even failure, even the long silence you're enduring. I never stop working, even when you see nothing. The quietest moments are often when I am paving the way the most. You don't need full understanding to rest. You only need to know that I, your Creator, have a clear plan, never confused, never chaotic. I do not gamble. I do not guess. Everything I do is precise and purposeful down to the breath. My timing is not just right, it is perfect. It is never late, never early. It arrives when your heart is deep enough, your character strong enough, and the readiness I planted in you meets my purpose like a sacred symphony. You will never miss what is yours if you walk with me. I know you are weary, because you are trying to carry tomorrow's weight with today's strength. But child, I never asked you to do that. That is not your burden to bear. Just today I ask you only to trust me today. Just today. Tomorrow will bring new strength. Tomorrow will bring fresh grace. And I, the one who has been with you since before the morning, will provide as I always have. As long as you try to live the whole week in a single day, you will feel exhausted. But if you learn to live moment by moment with me, your soul will find rest. You fear you've missed your chance, that you're too slow, that others have passed you by, but I do not measure your life by the pace of others. I am not hurried. I am not rushed. I tend to every season of your soul like a gardener tending each tiny seed. There are things I must dig up, old wounds, the need to control hidden insecurities, fear of abandonment. There are things I must prune, pride, the urge to please everyone, dependence on human approval. And then I begin to sow again, patience, trust, the courage to wait. Not waiting in emptiness, but waiting in hope. My child, I see the doubt in your eyes when the silence lasts too long. But have you ever thought, like a seed buried in the soil, there must be a time of darkness and quiet before life bursts forth? Just because you haven't bloomed doesn't mean you are dead. Just because your shape is not yet defined doesn't mean I have forgotten you. I am deepening your roots, because I am preparing you not just for one season of bloom, but for lasting fruit. Those who rise quickly may also fall quickly. But you I am building with stone. Do not compare your timing to another's. My timing, for you, is one of a kind. You feel like you need to do more, run faster, become good enough to be loved, to be useful. But my love is not given based on your perfection. It is given because you are mine, and I am your Father. Nothing you do can make me love you more, and nothing you do can make me love you less. My love does not waver, does not depend on highs or lows or performance. I love you on the days you shine, and I love you on the days when breathing is all you can do. So, dear child, if ever you feel slowed, delayed, don't be discouraged. Sometimes delay is protection. Sometimes I close a door not to punish you, but to shield you from what you are not yet ready to face. Sometimes I ask you to wait, not because you haven't done enough, but because I am preparing something that exceeds your imagination. I do nothing halfway. Every time I build, I lay foundations deep. And you are a precious work in my hands. You may not see it all, but I see. You may not hear it all, but I am speaking. Not through noise, but through the deep quiet of your soul. When you stop running, when you sit and breathe, you will sense me there. Do not fear silence or slowness or the unknown, because I, the one who knows, all sees, all understands, all am with you. And that is everything you truly need, beloved child. Now let your heart grow still, like calm waters untouched by wind, so I can speak to you deeply, honestly, in the language only the heart understands. I know you have waited a long time. Sometimes you waited with hope, other times with doubt. You've searched for signs, prayed for a word, longed for a clear confirmation, something to steady your soul. But instead, what you received was silence. A silence so thick it took your breath, made you whisper, "Are you still there? Do you still hear me?" And this I want you to know clearly: I have never left the place I stood. I never turned my back, not even when you doubted my presence. Silence is not absence. It is sacred space where I do work deeper than anything your eyes can see. I am not a God who acts out of your impatience. I am a God who digs deep, who anchors roots, who lays foundations no storm can shake. You want the fruit. I want to grow the roots. You want the door to open. I want your heart to know stillness, because what's coming will bring storms, headwinds, and seasons when you see no way forward. But if you know me truly deeply, then you will stand. Not because you're strong, but because you're rooted in the one who cannot be moved. That's why I sometimes delay answers, not because I'm far, but because I am planting your roots so deep they no longer cling to outcomes, emotions, or circumstances, but to me alone. You used to think that if I loved you, you would always feel my closeness. But child, mature love doesn't rely on feelings. It rests in trust. And I am raising in you a faith that no longer depends on constant signs. A deep, quiet, steady faith like bedrock beneath stormy waves. I am refining you, not because I'm distant, but because I am close, so loving, so committed to the masterpiece I am shaping in you. The silence is so you can learn to listen. The waiting is so you can learn to endure. The emptiness is so you can know this: I am your reward, not the answer, not the miracle, but me. I know there are days you feel exhausted under an invisible weight, the weight of uncertainty, of a hidden future of prayers still unanswered. But child, remember this: not one tear you've shed is wasted. I have seen it all, from the moments your head sank into your pillow in quiet sorrow to the sighs no one else could hear. I know when you've smiled on the outside while your heart quietly broke. I know the things you've lost, the things you regret, the dreams you once cradled but let go. And I have never turned my face away because of those things. I am the one who knows you better than you know yourself. I see the wounds hidden beneath the strong face you wear, and I don't just see them. I tend to them. I bind them. I restore. I am not like people who judge by what is past. I do not tally your mistakes. I do not label you broken just because you fell. I look into your heart, and there, even in its cracks, I still see light. I still see hope. I still see a flickering faith waiting to be reignited. And I will light it again. There are dreams you thought had died, promises, longings that once burned bright but have now been buried beneath harsh reality. You've marked them impossible, too late. Wrong person, wrong time. But I ask you, who told you that? Was it me? Or was it the voice of fear and disappointment? I never told you to release what I planted in you. If it was from me, then it still holds value regardless of the timing, your age, or any delay. Remember, I am not limited by logic, by odds, by time. I am the one who parted seas, who made water flow in deserts, who called the dead to life. I do not need perfect conditions to do miracles. I only need faith. Not perfect faith, just honest faith. When you choose to trust me in the silence, that's when the miracle begins. In my kingdom, faith is the currency, not calculation, not competence, but a simple, sincere trust that dares to walk even when the path is hidden. And child, I have never started something I did not intend to finish. If I lit the fire, I will not let it go out. If I planted the seed, I will not let it die in the desert. I am the beginning and the end. The work I do in you will not be abandoned. Yes, there will be times you don't understand why things happen the way they do. Yes, you'll ask, is this the end? But child, don't let the temporary deceive you about the eternal. Every hard road is just a hallway to the greater thing I am preparing. No matter how far you've wandered, how long you've delayed, how many mistakes you've made, I have not changed my mind about you. My intention remains. My promises still live. My love still burns bright. No failure, no wrong turn, no missed timing can destroy what I've set apart, because what I place no one can steal. Not the world, not the past, not weakness, not failure. So come, just come. Come slowly if you must. Come weak, come unsure, come tired, just come. because I am here, and I am enough. Today, my child, you only need one thing, not an answer, not a sign, not proof, only a heart willing to open to me once again. Even if it's broken, hesitant, weary, if it still longs for me, that is enough. If you can do that, the rest is mine. I will work wonders. I will make a way. I will breathe new life into you. Not through the shortest path, but the surest one, because I am holding your hand every step of the way. And in each breath, each moment, each silence, you will know I am here. I have never left, and I will never give up on you. My beloved child, I hear the sighs that never become words. I see the way your eyes search the void, trying to find something, a sign, a way out, a source of comfort. But what you're looking for isn't hidden in the future you try to analyze, nor in the scenarios you rehearse in your mind. What your soul truly longs for is me, my arms around you when you're tired, my gaze without judgment, the place where your soul can finally exhale after holding itself together for too long. You are not just weary from work responsibilities or relationships. You're weary because your soul is carrying too many things that don't belong to it. You're living as though you are the one who must control everything, who must know everything ahead of time, who must prevent every hurt. But you weren't created to carry that role. That role belongs to me. When you strive to understand everything, you don't let me lead. When you replay conversations in your head, you're trying to fix things from a place of fear, not trust. When you analyze the future, you forget that I've already gone before you. And when you try to brace yourself for pain, you're assuming I won't be good enough to prevent it or loving enough to carry you through it. My child, sit down. Breathe. Let me be your father. Let me be the place where you lay down your burdens, where you don't have to be strong, don't have to have it all figured out, don't have to pretend to be okay. You don't need to perform before me. I know you every part, even the parts you try to hide from yourself. I know the worry that quietly spreads like smoke in your chest. I know the fear that wakes you in the middle of the night. I see the tears you swallow every time you smile. But I also see the beauty in the small acts of faith you keep holding on to. I see the courage in your decision to keep going even when you no longer know why. You don't need a grand reason to come to me. You just need to want to. Even if you're carrying exhaustion, confusion, or unnamed shame, I will still receive you with all tenderness. I don't love you less because you're weak. I don't love you less because you've failed. I'm not disappointed in you when you've lost your way. No, I embrace all of that and I say you are still mine. Come, let me shepherd you. I will not lead you into chaos. I will lead you to green pastures where you can rest without feeling like you've given up. I will guide you to still waters where your soul can be restored, where you no longer need to explain everything and simply be. You often think your life's purpose is fragile, that one wrong step could ruin everything. But no, my child. I have set your purpose on a foundation stronger than any mistake you might make. I didn't write your destiny in pencil, afraid of errors. I wrote it in ink of grace. No person, no decision, no fear can erase what I have etched into the palm of my hand. Even when you wander, I watch over you. Even when you are lost, I never lose sight of you. I always know how to call you home, not with harsh rebukes, but with a tender whisper. My child, I am still here. Do not fear the feeling of being late. I am the keeper of time, and I am never late for the goodness I've planned for you. You may have taken detours, but I use even the bends in the road to teach you what the straight path never could. You've learned patience, humility, dependence, and deep down faith. I do not waste any stretch of your journey. Every failure, every dead end, every broken dream can become the precious material I use to build something unshakable within you. I don't need your perfection. I need your companionship. And when you are in my hands, nothing is too late and nothing is too far gone. I am the one who brings the dead back to life, who renews what is old, who revives what seems to have faded. I can shine light through the very cracks in you. I can breathe life into the place you gave up on. I can restore what you thought was lost. What I wait for is not excellence, but surrender. Not wisdom, but a simple trust that says, Lord, I need you, and in that very moment I will come. Not as a raging storm, but as a gentle breath that quiets your mind. I will not scold, will not rush, will not boast. I will simply hold you long enough for you to feel safe, deep enough for you to know you're fully understood. I will lift every burden from your shoulders, not by making it all disappear with a miracle, but by being so present that you no longer carry it alone. Let me do that for you. Let me be the Father you return to, not with proof, not with worthiness. Because in my eyes you are already enough simply because you are mine, and I am still waiting, with all of heaven open in my arms. With a rest you cannot find on your own, but will receive the moment you return. My beloved, I am the Good Shepherd, not only in fair weather when the flock is calm, but also in the darkest night in the wildest wilderness where a soul wanders alone. I am the one who does not count by numbers, but by love. And if you were the only one drifting, I would still set out, trace every footprint, cross every valley and mountain just to reach you. Not to condemn, not to ask why you strayed, but to kneel beside you, to hold you, and to say, I never stopped searching. You've often thought that I draw near only when you're strong, obedient, and fully devoted. But my love is not like the world's love. It has no conditions. It does not demand worthiness. I do not chase you in anger, but with a heart broken by longing. When you hide, I seek. When you are silent, I call. When you turn away, I wait. And when you collapse from exhaustion, it is I who carry you home on my shoulders to peace. I do not lead with shouts, but with gentle whispers. I do not drive you with fear, but patiently guide you back with unchanging love. Your stumbles do not make me turn away. The dark corners of your soul do not repel me. In fact, it is in those very places that I long to shine light, to transform, to build something new from what once seemed broken. You think you are not enough, but I never called you because you were enough. I called you because I chose you. I have placed treasures within you not to be hidden, but to be given, not to compete, but to cultivate. The gifts I've placed in you don't need to be exaggerated, hurried, or validated by the crowd to be real. They were born of me, and I will be the one to bring them to bloom. You don't need to fight for opportunities or twist yourself to be accepted. What I've set aside for you, no one can take. What I build in you, no one can break. Let me go before you let me calm your restless heart, and you will see what is meant for you will come in its perfect time, perfectly whole. Yes, this world is chaotic. Yes, you may be swept up in the panic, in rumors, in headlines, in economic shifts, in the chill between people, but I am not shaken. And if you build your life on me, you too will not be shaken. My child, let me be the solid rock under your feet. When everything around you crumbles, you will not fall because it is my hand holding you. Keep your eyes on me. Not only when you pray, but also when you walk, work, rest, laugh, even when you're tired. Don't let your gaze be pulled to fleeting things, worldly standards, or measures of success. Those things change, but I do not. My kingdom cannot be shaken. My truth never loses value. And you are part of a kingdom that will never fade. The future I have for you is not merely one of survival, but of purpose, meaning, and mission. Not just to live, but to live with impact. I will use you in my own way, gently, deeply, enduringly. Maybe not dazzling by human standards, but radiant in my eyes. I will use your words to bring healing, your silence to bring comfort, your wounds to bring empathy, your weakness to reveal my power. Do not fear if you feel unready. Do not run if you feel messy. I never waited for you to be perfect before using you. It is in my touch that you will be shaped, cleansed, lifted. Each day you walk with me, you will see yourself transformed, not by pressure, but by love. Not by trying to become someone else, but by surrendering to become who you truly are, the one I created from the very beginning. My child, there are so many out there who need what I've already placed inside your heart. Don't hide your light because you fear being misunderstood. Don't silence your voice because it was once rejected. I will use you, not despite your weaknesses, but through them. Like a clay lamp, I let my light shine brightly through every crack. I'm not looking for perfect vessels. I'm looking for willing ones. So stop running, my child. Stop striving. Stop trying to control. You are not a lone warrior in the battle of life. You are my companion. I will walk with you when you are strong and especially when you are weak. I will steady you when you have no strength. I will lift you when you can no longer stand. And in the end, I will lead you not just to safety, but to the life you were always meant to live, free, full, and called. My beloved child, I see clearly into the deepest places of your heart, the places you've never spoken aloud, where you've hidden your trembling behind the mask of duty and strength. I know there are days when you think, when I'm better, stronger, more worthy, then maybe God can use me. But my dear one, that is not how I see you. I do not wait for your perfection to do perfect work through you. I only need a willing heart, a trembling but sincere yes. A child who dares to say, though I am not enough, I believe my Father is, and that is already enough. You don't need to understand every part of the plan before you take a step. You don't need to see the whole map before you begin the journey. You only need to trust the hand that is holding yours, the hand that will never let you go, the hand that formed every cell within you, that lifted you from ashes and raised you from the depths. You only need one step, just one. Because when you walk with me, you do not walk alone. I go before you to clear the path. I walk beside you to strengthen you. I follow behind to guard you. You are covered before and behind, above and within, like a gentle cloak draped over your soul. My presence is the covering I will never withdraw. I do not promise a path without storms, but I promise that I am peace within the storm. Not a road that is always smooth, but a heart held steady in me even when the ground beneath you shakes. I am not a distant God who shouts orders from on high. I am the one who walks beside you, stoops low to carry you when you are weary, who wipes your tears when no one sees. I am not far, I am near. Turn in any direction and you will find me there, in the silence or in your heavy steps I have never left. You've lived too long under the constant whisper of anxiety, so long that it feels like a part of who you are. It speaks into your ears each morning as you rise and lingers at your pillow each night as you try to sleep. It tells you that if you don't worry, you'll be careless, that if you're not in control, everything will fall apart. But dear one, that is a lie dressed in responsibility. Anxiety is not a faithful companion, it is a thief. It steals your rest, your smile, the moments of peace I've prepared for you. I never designed your soul to carry that burden. Your mind wasn't created to chase endless what-ifs. Your heart wasn't built to tremble at every uncertain tomorrow. I made you to live in peace, not a peace that depends on circumstances, but a peace that flows from my presence. Peace doesn't come when everything settles down. It comes when your heart knows that even in the chaos I am there. And I never walk away halfway through. Anxiety whispers that it's protecting you, that if you don't anticipate every outcome, you'll be unwise. But that is not the wisdom that comes from me. That's a vigilance born of fear, and fear can never bring life. Anxiety traps you in your own mind, rehearsing endings that haven't come, bracing for things that may never happen. In doing so, you lose the present. You miss today, the day I made for you to enjoy. The day I already dwell in, waiting for you to pause, to be still, and to know who I am. My beloved child, I see that you are tired, tired from holding it all together. Tired from always needing to be ready. Tired from wearing the image of strength while inside you feel so depleted. You don't have to live that way anymore. I do not love you because you are always strong. I love you even in your weakness. I did not choose you because you are flawless. I chose you because you opened your heart. It is when you say, Lord, I don't know, but I believe that my power is made known. It is when you admit I'm not enough, that I have space to enter and do what you cannot. You do not have to live with anxiety as if it were an uninvited guest that decided to stay. You can say goodbye. You can return it to where it came from. Darkness lies. And in its place, let my truth take root in your heart. The truth that I do not withdraw my promises, that I have never changed my heart toward you, that even when you feel fragile, I am a fortress around you, that even when you are not in control, I never leave you to the chaos. Let me be the loudest voice in your mind, not anxiety. Let my words become your refuge when your soul is stirred. Let my voice calm the storm within you. You will no longer be tossed by conflicting voices if you choose to stop and listen to mine, gentle but unwavering. My voice does not push, it invites, it leads. It heals. And remember this: every time your heart trembles, I never call you out only to abandon you there. Every calling comes with my presence. Every time I say go, I also say I am with you. Every time I use you, it is not because you were strong, but because you dared to say yes. And that is enough for me to work wonders. Not from perfection, but from a mustard seed of genuine faith. So, my child, release your anxiety to me as something that no longer fits you. Receive peace instead, the gift I've always been ready to place in your hands. And then take a step. Not in fear, but in my presence. Not because you understand everything, but because you believe I am unshakable. You don't have to wait until you're strong. You just need to be willing. I will take care of the rest. And you will see from within you, from where panic once lived, a new stillness will be born. Not because you've mastered everything, but because you've let me reign. And that is where the miracle begins. Child, when waves of anxiety rise within you, I do not scold you. I do not look at you with cold eyes, nor do I retreat from you because of your unrest. On the contrary, I come closer. I draw near because I know deep beneath the struggles, the calculations, the moments of confusion, you were never trying to replace me. You're just trying to survive. You're trying to make sense of it all, trying to prepare, trying to control. Not out of rebellion, but out of desperation in the face of things your heart was never taught to handle. I see that. I hear the cries of your heart even when they make no sound. The nights you lie awake with a storm of what-ifs in your head, the moments you silently press your forehead hoping to erase the exhaustion etched into your mind. I know you long for one thing: to know for sure, to know so you won't be wrong, won't be hurt, won't lose your way, to know so you can guard yourself, to know so you won't be disappointed again. I understand, I truly do. But my child, there is a gentle yet challenging truth. Safety is not found in knowing everything, it's found in knowing who you walk with. You don't need to see the full map when the hand holding yours is mine, the one who goes before, the one wiser than you, the one who loves you more deeply than you could ever love yourself. And because you do not yet know that deeply, you still hold tightly to everything with trembling hands. You say you trust me, yet you're afraid to let go. I don't fault you for that. Surrender is never easy. It requires a rare kind of courage. Not the courage to act, but the courage to stop trying to control. The courage to step back and say, I don't know, but I trust you. And dear one, I want you to know this. My will is not a maze. It's not a minefield where one wrong step will ruin everything. My will is not so fragile that a single hesitation or mistake from you would make me give up. In fact, it is in your surrender and your letting go that my will finds space to unfold fully. You once believed that if you didn't keep your hands on the wheel, everything would fall apart. But you never knew that only when you let go could I steer you rightly. I won't force your surrender. I wait. Like a father who knows that trust can't be coerced. I wait until you realize that your tight grip doesn't make things safer, it only makes you more tired. Only when you open your hands can I place in them what far exceeds what you're holding. Only when you open your heart can I touch the hidden fears you've buried. And only when you trust my nature, not just my power, but my goodness, will you truly find rest. I know that part of you still screams that if you don't always think ahead, always stay prepared, you'll be left behind, hurt, caught off guard by pain. That voice is loud, isn't it, my child? But that is not my voice. That is the echo of a world that taught you safety must be earned, value must be proven, and only control can protect you. But in my kingdom, truth flows the other way. Whoever loses will gain. Whoever surrenders will overcome. Whoever trusts will witness miracles. My will does not always look like what you expect. Sometimes it defies logic, defies timing, defies what others want from you. But it is the path of life. A path not promised to be easy, but promised that I will walk it with you. Not always straight, but always true. Not leading to shallow success, but to me, your source of life. I know that when I ask you to let go, I am touching the deepest place in you, the dwelling of your fears. But I do not want you to live forever in the tension between faith and control. I want you to experience true freedom, the freedom of knowing You don't have to know everything, don't have to hold everything, don't have to steer every moment. You only need to hold my hand. And trust that I am not only able to lead, but good enough not to harm you. You say you want my will, then let me do my part. Let me lead, even when the road is unclear. Let me build the future even when you don't understand the ending. Let me rewrite the chapters you thought were closed. I can, and I want to, but I will not force myself where I am not welcomed. I do not demand, I wait. I stand at the door of your heart, not knocking loudly but gently, not commanding but inviting. And when you open your heart, not everything will instantly become easy, but everything will begin to align, and you will see surrender does not lead to chaos but to peace. It does not lead to loss but to openness. It does not make you weak, it makes you truly strong. Not because you hold everything together, but because you are upheld by the one who never fails. You do not need to be God in your own life. That role is far too heavy, and you were never created to carry it. Return to being a child who is loved, held, and led, and then you will see, not with your eyes but with your heart, that my will is always good, always timely, always enough. Not because you understand it, but because you know me. My beloved child, there are times in the depths of your loneliness when you imagine that I am a distant being, a mystical force you only know through books or from the words of others, rather than a real presence in your personal pain. But my child, let me remind you of this. I am not some nameless energy drifting across the cosmos. I am not a distant power acting from afar. I am your Father, the one who chose you, loved you, and knew your name before your form even existed. Before anyone else laid eyes on you, I saw you not with the eyes of the world, but with the merciful heart of the one who formed you in his image. I was there as you were knit together in your mother's womb. I stood silently beside your bed on those nights you cried without knowing why. I did not walk away when you doubted, nor turn from you when you fell. Even when you didn't see me, didn't call my name, didn't recognize my presence, I never left. The places you see as the darkest valleys were the very places where I held your hand the tightest. The tears you quickly wiped away in front of others, I caught each one and stored it as treasure. Because not a single sorrow of yours is insignificant in my eyes. You do not burden me. You do not tire me. I do not turn away because of your weakness. On the contrary, it is when you are most broken that I draw closest. When your faith feels as fragile as a thread, I do not scold you. I simply hold it gently, in my hands, waiting to weave it anew with the life I give. You do not need to be strong to come near me. You do not need to be okay to be worthy of my presence. I am your Father, and my love does not shift with your moods. It is steadfast, enduring, and unshaken even by the smallest breeze of doubt that brushes through your soul. I see that worry has taken up too much space in your mind. It doesn't arrive like a storm, but like a whisper, constant, persistent, deceptively reasonable. It presents every possible what-if scenario to keep you frozen in fear. It convinces you that with more control, deeper calculations, things will feel safer. But in truth, it steals the quiet you need to hear my voice. Worry is the wedge that breaks intimacy between you and me. It makes you believe that you need certainty in order to trust, when I am asking you to trust so that you may see. My child, what I offer you is not the perfect answer to every situation, but a peace that surpasses understanding. A peace that doesn't come from knowing, but from knowing me, knowing that I am here holding your hand, guiding every step with gentleness. You don't need a full map in your hands, just the assurance that I am walking ahead, because when you have me, you have more than you think. You don't just have a guide, you have a father, a friend, a refuge, a hope. I do not promise you that life will always be easy. I do not hide from you that there will be times you must walk through fire, but I promise that fire will not consume your soul. I do not promise you will always understand why something happens. But I promise that nothing is meaningless when you walk through it with me. Every trial will refine, every loss will shape, every weight will nurture faith, and all things in the end will work together for your good. I don't want you to merely survive each day. I want you to truly live. Live with the awareness that you are never alone, that I am still journeying with you, and that behind everything you can't yet make sense of, there is a plan full of love. Not a plan that avoids pain, but a path where every ache becomes purpose. Be still, my child. Let my voice rise again in the chaos within you. Let my tenderness silence the fearful narratives that anxiety keeps weaving. Let me hold you not as one who must prove or be strong or have all the answers, but simply as a child. Just be here, and I have always been here. My beloved, I hold the universe together with my very word. The sun does not rise on its own. The moon and stars do not spin by chance. The oceans do not restrain themselves arbitrarily. Everything you see, every heartbeat of this world rests securely in my hand. And if I can sustain the vastness of all creation, do you think I cannot hold your life together? If I can draw the course of stars in the heavens, do you not believe I know every turn and detail of your precious unfolding journey? I know you. Fear that surrendering to my will means you might lose something, a chance, a dream, a person. But my child, if you trust that I can save your soul from eternal death, can you not trust that I am loving enough to care for the details of your present life? You say I am almighty, yet you hesitate when I lead you down a path that doesn't match your expectations. Beloved, my will is not a burden, it is rest. It is not a barren road with no end, but a hidden stream that nourishes your soul, even when it leads through desert lands. Yes, you will pass through desolate places, seasons where every door seems closed, days where nothing seems to move. But in those deserts, I will teach you how to hear my voice. When the noise of the crowd fades and every old foundation is stripped away, you will realize I am still here, never gone, and my will, though not always pleasant, is always good. It trains your faith, draws your heart closer, and digs deep within you a well that never runs dry. You may think waiting is pointless. You may interpret silence as a sign you're on the wrong path. But no, every season of waiting is fertile ground being prepared. I waste nothing, not even the quiet seasons where nothing seems to change. I do not waste your tears, your long nights of questioning your past decisions you now regret. In my hands all becomes sacred. Every tear, every sigh, every collapse into prayer crying, please don't leave, each one is a silent plea, and I have heard them all. You ask me, what if I choose wrong? What if I take the wrong path? And I reply, you may stray, but you can never wander beyond my love. I am not the father who stands at a distance watching your failures and turning away. I am the Father who runs to you, holds you close, wipes the dust from your face, and helps you rise again. Even if you veer from the path I've shown, I know how to bring you back, not through punishment, but through relentless mercy. You don't need to fear missing my will if your heart sincerely seeks me. I do not withhold what you need, I reveal it step by step as you learn to walk close beside me. My child, what matters most is not that you know all the answers, but that you know me. Not that you never make mistakes, but that when you do, you know where to return. I don't need you to be perfect to lead you. I only desire a heart that remains soft, not hardened by disappointment, not so skeptical that it forgets who I am. I treasure your desire to walk in my ways, even when you can't see clearly. For I do not use maps, I am the way. Don't worry if you cannot see the whole picture. Don't worry if you're unsure of the next step. Don't redraw your entire life plan every time the wind shifts. Pause, breathe, close your eyes, and know that I am holding your hand. Not to force, but to protect. Not to control, but to uphold. Not to prevent all mistakes, but so that when you fall, you won't fall alone. Your future is not hanging precariously between right and wrong. Your future is held by the one who sees far beyond your current choices. You do not have to live as though a single wrong step can destroy my plan for you. I am not fragile. My will is not fragile. My love is not fragile. On the contrary, I am the one who makes broken things whole again. I am the one who can turn dead ends into open roads. Trust me, my child. Whether you're standing at a confusing crossroad or turning back from a wrong turn, I am still your guide. And the beautiful thing is, I do not only guide, I go with you. You never have to walk alone. Never. Even in the silence I am working. Even in the disappointment I am paving the way. And in every beat of your heart, if you listen, you'll hear my voice calling, "Keep walking, I am still here." My child, I see you weighed down by something that seems small yet has silently rooted itself deep within your heart, worry. It is not loud, not explosive like anger, nor as visible as pain, but it lingers creeping like fog, paralyzing you bit by bit. It makes you hesitate when you should step forward. It clouds your vision when you should see the light ahead clearly. Worry is not merely an emotion. It is a thief stealing your peace, your courage, your faith, and even the clarity of your mind. I never placed that burden of worry on your shoulders. I never wrote a story where the main character trudges through life in fear. You are carrying something that does not belong to you. You are being ruled by something that should be brought under my name. Worry is not the companion I've chosen for you. It has no role in the journey of faith. For worry causes you to freeze, not daring to move forward, unwilling to go back, standing still in suffocating panic. But I never called you to live this way. I did not create you to be a victim of your thoughts. I call you one who is led by me, the one who goes before, who lights the way, who stands firm in all things. Remember, my child, I am not only the one who began your journey. I am the one who leads you through every step, every turn. You do not need to see the whole path before you start walking. You only need to follow the light I give you today in this very moment. Sometimes that light will only shine enough for one step, but you do not need to see everything because I see. I never lose my way, and I have never led anyone astray. As I have said, my word is a lamp to your feet, a light to your path, Psalm 119:105. Not a spotlight to illuminate the whole highway, but a lamp just enough, just in time, and fully trustworthy. When your heart is tangled, I don't ask you to fix it all before coming to me. I don't require you to clean up your thoughts before you're allowed to pray. You don't need perfect words. I don't listen for eloquence. I listen for your heart. Come to me in your most honest state. If you are afraid, say you're afraid. If you are weary, admit that you are tired. If you don't know what to do next, just whisper, "Father, help me." That is enough. I am not offended by your weakness, I am moved by it. I lean close to the simple, sincere prayer, even if it's just tears that cannot be spoken aloud. You've grown used to coming to me as a last resort after all your plans have failed. But I long for you to come to me first, like a child whose natural instinct is to run to their father because they know he is near. When worry rises, don't return first to logic to analyze or to imagination to imagine the worst. Return to me. You don't need to fix yourself before running toward me. Your act of running is the very beginning of your healing. I am not like people, those who tire after hearing your struggles once or twice. I listen forever, patiently and tenderly. I am close to the broken-hearted. I am not only near to the strong, the victorious, the clear-minded. I am especially near to the weak, the confused, the overwhelmed, to those thrashing in the storm of their thoughts. It is right there that I lay my hand upon your head and say, "Peace, be still." And not every storm outside you will calm right away, but your soul will be still first. Peace is not the absence of external chaos. It is the presence of a voice in your spirit louder than anxiety. My voice gentle yet full of authority. My beloved child, do not let other voices drown out mine. Do not let the storm make you forget that I am sleeping peacefully in your boat, not because I do not care, but because I know that all things are under my authority. When you keep your eyes fixed on me, the storm may remain, but you will no longer be swept away by it. Remember, it was Peter who walked on water when his eyes were locked on me. But when he looked at the waves, he began to sink, and I did not scold him. I reached out, my hand in that very moment. Just as I am reaching for you now, without demands, without judgment, just fix your eyes on me. Just keep looking. You are not alone. No matter how thick the darkness, I am still the light. No matter how loud the noise, I still whisper. And you will recognize it, for my sheep know my voice, not with their ears, but with their hearts. Even if it's only a gentle breeze in the stillness, it will be clear to the soul that knows its Father. So pause, take a deep breath. Exhale with all the burdens you carry, and whisper, "I'm listening. I am here, not rushed, not angry, not pressing. Just you and your Father in this moment, in the midst of everything you cannot control. I remain the one who controls all. And I love you not because you are strong, not because you are capable, but because you are mine. And that love never changes. It never fades. It is never withdrawn. It never leaves. My dear one, my peace is not a reward that comes only after you've solved every problem, when everything is clarified, or when the future feels secure enough to rest in. The peace I give you is a gift, and it has always been available right here in this seemingly fragile moment. Not after the storm, but in the storm. Not after the tears, but even in them. For peace does not come from everything around you being stable, but from my presence within you. And I, the Prince of Peace, am here. Closer than your breath, deeper than your thoughts, gentler than any comfort you've ever heard. You don't have to make yourself worthy to receive this peace. I do not demand that you have enough faith, enough strength, enough understanding to rest in my peace. I simply wait for you to open your heart. Peace is not a destination. It is the place you are invited to return to whenever you choose to trust me more than you trust your fear. You can let go right now. Let go of the things you're gripping too tightly, the things suffocating your spirit. Take a deep breath, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. And let me enter not with noise, not in haste, but with a presence strong enough to silence the storm. You once believed peace would come when all the knots of your life were untangled, when work was steady, when relationships were smooth, when plans were on track. But, my child, that's not peace, that is temporary ease. True peace, the kind I promise, transcends every circumstance. It does not depend on knowing what will happen tomorrow, but on knowing who I am today. When you trust in me, peace no longer needs to be pursued. It becomes something you receive. It becomes part of your breath, part of your steps. I did not write a chaotic story for your life. I am the author of every good thing. And not a single chapter of your story falls outside of my hands. What you see as the wrong chapter, I will use to lead you to the right one. What you think is a dead end, I will turn into a path that brings life. You do not need to contribute to rewriting your destiny through anxiety and control. Let me write. Let the story unfold in ink of trust on pages of surrender. Live as a child who believes their father knows best, even when the words are not yet understood. I know worry comes not because you don't love me, but because you feel responsible. You want to make sure everything is safe, whole, on track. You think, if I don't worry, who will? But dear child, there are burdens not meant for your shoulders. Some worries dress themselves as responsibility, but are actually a subtle slipping away from trust. True responsibility never weighs down your soul. Anxiety always drags you into the shadows of weariness. Do not confuse the two. Wisdom delights me. Preparation is good. But anxiety, it is the result of a mind no longer anchored in me. Your mind is the battlefield, and the enemy knows it. It does not need to destroy your circumstances, just disrupt your thoughts. Just plant enough what-ifs, enough doubts, enough what will happen if, and then it watches you sink. But child, I will not let you fight alone. I have given you a weapon, not a sword, but truth. I have spoken, and my words are the solid ground beneath the waves of emotion. When you let my words dwell in your mind, they will drive out the chaos. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you, Isaiah 2:6-3. You do not need to fight off anxiety in your own strength. Let my truth do it. Let it hold you firm when your emotions pull in every direction. Let my voice become the loudest voice in your mind, louder than fear, louder than lies, louder than the world. When you choose to renew your mind, you will discover something miraculous. Peace no longer comes and goes with your circumstances. It remains. It becomes the spiritual atmosphere in which you live, not because life is easy, but because you are covered by me. Today, I invite you to step out of the constant posture of defense. I invite you into true rest where you don't need to prove, don't need to strain, don't need to understand it all. Just be present. Just open your heart. I've been waiting for you there, where you are no longer the bearer but the kept one, where peace is no longer a luxury but a gift freely given in silence, in love, in the gentle presence of your Father. My child, I hear the silent groan of your soul, the deep longing for peace that no person, no result, no effort in this world can satisfy. I am the one who placed that desire within you, because I am the peace your soul is searching for. Not the temporary peace of the world, not the comfort of things being okay, but a deep rest that cannot be shaken by the waves. You were made to live in unbroken communion with me, not just to know about me, but to walk each breath with me. I do not want our relationship to exist only when you reach your limit. I am not the one you seek, only when everything falls apart. I am your father, and more than that, I am where you belong. I long to walk with you through every heartbeat, every thought, every moment. I want to be the first thought in your mind when the day begins and the last whisper you breathe before sleep. Not because I need your attention, but because I know only when you live aware that I am here will worry lose its place. Child, your worry does not push me away. It does not disappoint me. I did not come to condemn you, but to rescue you from the cycle that imprisons your mind. This is not a rebuke, it is a gentle invitation from a father who loves you deeply. I am inviting you into a different way of living, not a life without challenges, but a life no longer ruled by fear, not dictated by what is out of reach, not lived in constant anticipation of disaster or strain to control every outcome. I did not create you to live constantly on guard, perpetually braced for the worst. That is not maturity, not responsibility. It is a burden, it is a chain. It is the suffocation of a faith not yet free. And I do not want to see you drag your feet through a life of relentless striving against things you cannot change. I want to teach you another way, not indifference, but surrender. Not irresponsibility, but rootedness, roots planted deep in me. You may ask, how can I live like that when I've been hurt so much, broken so deeply, abandoned when I needed help the most? And I hear that question clearly. I do not overlook what you have been through. I do not diminish how the past has shaped your responses, but I want you to know I am greater than all your wounds. I am not limited by your painful history. I am not confined by what you've heard, seen, or endured. I am greater than what broke inside you. You've grown used to caution. You've trained yourself to prepare for everything to avoid surprises. You've built contingency plans and backup plans beyond them. And yet have you not found yourself exhausted despite all your calculations? Have you not felt weary from always needing to be ready because you were not made to hold the reins at all times? You were made to trust, to surrender, to know that no matter what happens, I am there and I will be enough for you. I know this isn't easy. I know that stopping, releasing, and letting go can feel like losing control. But child, losing control does not mean losing safety, not if you are in my hands. True safety is not found in managing outcomes, but in trusting that I am the one who holds all things. When you stop seeking certainty and begin seeking me, you will find a different kind of peace. A peace not born from ideal circumstances, but from unbroken communion. You are not the one holding the world together. You are not the keeper of the future. You are simply a child, but a child who is loved, protected, and guided. And because you are mine, I do not require you to know it all. I do not ask for perfection, strength, or unwavering resolve. I only ask that you come closer, that I may be your refuge. Not because you are helpless, but because you choose surrender. Not because you've given up, but because you trust me enough to stop controlling. I am not inviting you into an empty, passive, or naive life. I am calling you into a true life, a life nourished by faith in me, a faith that is not shaken by outcomes, not worn down by waiting, not defeated by uncertainty. I will teach you how to hear my voice among the clamor. I will teach you how to recognize my presence even on days with no clear signs. I will teach you how to walk not on trembling legs, but with a heart that knows to whom it belongs. Let me teach you to live more lightly, to live with an open heart untethered by what has yet to happen. Let me open your eyes to see that the present, not the future, is where I am, that right now, in the midst of all anxiety, you can still find me. And when you begin to live from that deep place, that place where you know you are loved, held, and led, anxiety will lose its voice. I do not want to merely help you through a day, a week, or a season. I want to walk with you your whole life, not from a distance, not only when needed, but every day, every hour, every moment. I am the one who has always been waiting for you to return, not with accusation, but with open arms. You need only to choose. I want to live a new way, a life of trust, not fear, not striving, and the moment you say that, I am already there. Beloved child, when you choose to gently release the burdens weighing heavily on your heart, you are not losing control. You are simply opening the door to true life. You are not abandoning alertness or caution. You are making space for peace, the peace I have long stood outside, knocking, waiting to enter. For wherever anxiety reigns, joy withers. But wherever trust dwells, hope blossoms. Each time you choose to lay down what frightens you, you open your heart to receive what I desire to give. Not a reward for the strong, but a gift of grace for the surrendered. Worry is not your guardian. It is the gatekeeper. It stands watch at the door of your heart, keeping my love from pouring in. It whispers that if you worry, you will be spared from sorrow. But no worry doesn't shield you from pain. It only makes you experience it twice, once in imagination and once in reality. My child, I did not design your soul to be constantly on guard. I created you to live with an open heart, open to me, to the present moment, to the goodness that is still unfolding, even when you cannot yet see its fullness. Let my spirit come not as a storm, but as a gentle breeze to soothe your soul. Let my love, quiet and unhurried, slip into the corners long occupied by fear. You do not need to tidy up before I enter, for I am the one who cleanses, renews, and heals. You don't need to make yourself okay before coming to me. Just invite me in, even if your heart still trembles, even if your mind is tangled in unanswered questions. You do not need to understand everything. You don't have to map out the whole path. Just do your part today. Be faithful with the small thing I've placed in your hands. A loving conversation, a kind gesture, a whispered prayer. A single step of obedience even without clarity. That is faith, not the kind that resounds in the marketplace, but the quiet yes spoken amid hesitation, choosing still to move forward. And every such step shakes the heavens. Every such step causes heaven to lean in. Because you are not walking alone, you are walking with me. Do you know this? Even before worry crept in, I was already in what you now fear. Before you encountered the problem, I had already prepared the solution. Before you even knew what you needed, I was already at work. I am the one who goes before you, never late, never lacking. I am the one who sees what you cannot, knows what you've never thought of, and continues working even when you feel nothing. Every need you carry I have seen. Every wound you bear I know. And nothing ever surprises, overwhelms, or confuses me. So when worry returns, and it will because you are still living in this world, do not turn away from me in shame. Don't believe I am disappointed because you are not strong enough. Don't scold yourself for being weak again. Instead, come to me. Bring your fear, your weariness, your confusion, bring it all and lay it at my feet. I am not tired of your complaints. I am not weary of your repeated questions. I am the patient Father, the shepherd, who does not abandon even one lost sheep. I not only listen, I lean in, I wait, I embrace. Let me remind you again of who I am. I am the light that does not dim in the night. I am the truth that does not shift amidst the noise. I am the peace that remains even when your heart is in turmoil. I have never left you, not even for a second. There is no moment where I am too far to hear your sigh, no night too deep for my gaze to pierce. And when you are too tired to reach for me, I am the one who already stepped forward, already drew near, already wrapped my arms around you. And then when you allow me to do that, to lift you from the loop of worry and place you into my rest, you will witness something miraculous. Peace will bloom, not because everything has been solved, but because you are in me. Joy will return, not as loud excitement, but as gentle light shining into a heart that once felt shut. And faith, though once fragile and faint, will rise again like a song within your soul. Not a perfect song, but a sincere one. A song that rises only when you know that no matter what happens, you still belong to me, my beloved child. No matter how fiercely the storms within you may roar, I am still here, never distant, never silent. It is only that sometimes my voice is too gentle, while the winds and waves in you are too loud, and so you do not hear me. Yet I am calling you every hour, every moment, with an unwearied invitation. I stand in the very place where you can find me most easily. Only turn around, only stop chasing other voices. Only allow your heart to grow still for a moment, and you will realize that I have been beside you all along. I wait with patience, not because I do not know where you are or what you are doing, but because I want you to come of your own will. I want you to understand that I never force, never press my love upon you. This love is freely given, a gift opened when you desire and choose it. My arms are open not only to welcome you back, but to embrace every broken fragment within you, those places you think no one can touch, the wounds you hide for fear of judgment. I do not fill you once and then leave. Whenever you thirst, whenever your soul withers, I will pour into you again my comfort, my strength, and new life. So, my child, do not cling to your worries as if they were a lifeline. Do you not see? They have never pulled you from any abyss. They have only dragged you deeper. Worry is no faithful companion. It is a thief that quietly drains your trust and clouds your eyes to the light. Let it go, not because you are strong enough to defeat it on your own, but because I am ready to carry it for you, to show you that peace is not a luxury but a gift I long for you to dwell in each day. Let me be the first place you return to, not the last resort, when all other doors have closed. Too often you search for answers everywhere else, trying one way after another, and only when disappointment fills you do you remember me. But I long to be your first harbor, the voice you recognize before life has had the chance to weary you. Each time and every time, just come. Do not think I only want to see you when you are neat and composed. Even when you are tangled and confused, I want you to draw near to me. Here, where I wait, is the land of peace your heart has long yearned for. You have wandered long enough through crowded yet lonely streets among the noise, yet feeling adrift. The peace here is not like the hollow silence of the world. It is a stillness brimming with life, where you can breathe deeply without fear of loss, where you know you are loved without condition. Everything you have sought outside, acceptance, safety, belonging, is already here where I stand. I have never grown weary of opening my arms to you, and I never will. You may turn away countless times, yet I will still wait. You may fall again and again, yet I will still uphold you. You may doubt, grow angry, or remain silent for a long while, yet I will not cease to love you. For my love for you is not measured by time or by your response. It exists simply because you are my child. This love does not change when you change, does not fade when you are weak, does not disappear when you fail. My child, how many times have you searched for peace in places that could never give it to you? How many times have you placed your hope in people or circumstances only to have your heart bleed when they could not fulfill it? I know every blake of tear you have shed in secret, every moment you pretended to be strong before others. I see the thoughts you dare not speak aloud, and still I am there, still holding you even when you have yet to notice. I do not promise that coming to me will make every difficulty vanish, but I promise that in every difficulty you will no longer be alone. I will walk with you through the roughest roads, and my hand will not let go no matter how much you tremble. The peace I give is not the absence of storms, but the strength to stand firm in them, the light that shines even when you cannot yet see the way out. Come, my beloved, even with a shattered heart. Come, even if you have nothing left to offer, for I do not seek your achievements or your merits, I seek you. Come, for every moment away from me is a moment you miss the living stream already flowing for you. And when you come, do not hurry away. Remain until you know with certainty that you have been filled. You do not need to fear that you have returned too many times. With me, every return is as precious as the first. There is no limit to how many times I will forgive, how many times I will begin anew with you. Each day, my love for you is as fresh as if today were the very first day I formed you. So, my child, stop seeking peace in fleeting winds. Stop clinging to pieces that do not fit. Let me be the anchor you will never lose. For here in my arms, you will find not only rest for your soul, but also your truest self, the one I have loved from the beginning, the one created not to live in fear, but to live in freedom and perfect love. And even if the whole world changes, even if everything you once trusted falls apart, I will still be the one who never changes, the place you can return to at any moment. You need only take one step, and I will cover the rest of the distance toward you. My beloved child, give your heart a true pause, a stillness like the surface of a morning lake where every ripple has quieted so the light can reflect. You so often let your mind spin like a wheel that never stops turning, crowded with questions that have no answers, with dark scenarios you create and then believe as though they have already happened. But my child, all of this only weighs your steps down and clouds your eyes from seeing the truth. I want you to hear this clearly, deeply. Your life has never slipped from my hands, and it never will. No matter how chaotic the world around you seems, no matter how events pile one upon another until you feel lost in a maze of dead ends, I am still in the higher place, seeing the whole picture. I hold every thread of your life story. None is broken, none forgotten. What you see as tangled, I see as a magnificent tapestry being woven, each strand joined by my skillful and loving hands. You may think the future is collapsing, but in truth, it is simply unfolding in a way you do not yet understand. I alone know the full path from beginning to end, and every turn you take lies within that wise design. You see only a tiny corner of the picture. I see the whole. This is why there are things you call loss, yet I call them protection. Things you call failure, yet I know them to be the beginning of something better. Remember this: nothing happens outside the gaze of my love. Not a single tear you shed falls without my knowing. Not a single sigh escapes you without my notice. Even the thoughts you have never dared to voice, I understand completely. I do not watch from afar. I am so near that if you grow still, you will realize your heartbeat is in rhythm with mine. I know there are times when what I do is not what you expected, and it stirs doubt in you. But my child, I do not work according to what is most convenient in the moment, but according to what is good for the long term. I know when the road must be lit so you can see clearly, and when it must grow dark so you can learn to trust. I know when to let you move quickly, and when to have you pause, rest, and heal. Every delay is not a loss, but a preparation. I have seen how often you exhaust yourself trying to keep everything under control, but you do not need to do that. This world is not in your hands, and you are not meant to carry it all. When you place everything into my hands, you will realize you are being protected and kept by a love that never fails. My hand is not only strong enough to shield you from the storm, but gentle enough to cradle the smallest details of your life. There are nights I see you lying awake heavy with burdens. There are mornings when joy seems to have run dry. You smile before others, but inside you feel hollow. I see it all, and I want you to know you do not have to endure alone. I want to be the place you come first, not the last option. I want to be the arms you run into whenever your heart trembles. I do not promise that all difficulties will vanish the moment you are with me, but I promise that in the midst of them you will never be alone. I will walk beside you, steady you when you are weak, lift you when you fall. The peace I give is not the absence of storms, but the ability to stand firm within them. It is the lamp that keeps burning even when the wind outside is howling. Trust that every closed door is part of my loving plan. I do not take away anything that will be good for you in the long run. Even when you do not understand why, you can trust that I understand. And when you give me the reins, I will lead you to places you never dreamed possible. Stop painting worst-case pictures. Stop living in what has not yet happened. Whenever your mind wants to run toward fear, pull it back to the present where I am right beside you. I have been, I am, and I will always be enough for you. There is no distance too great for me to cross to reach you. There is no pit too deep for me to pull you from. I know you want everything to be clear, to know the outcome in advance, to hold the whole plan in your hands. But my child, if you knew it all, where would be the chance to learn to trust? It is when you cannot see the way that you learn to hold my hand tighter. And it is when you do not understand that you have the chance to experience my wisdom and my love more deeply. So, my beloved, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and remember that I still hold your story. I never sleep, never overlook. I care for every detail from the greatest to the smallest. Every beat of your heart rests within my providence. Every step you take is already known and guided by me. Lay your worries down and let my peace cover you. Do not clutch those burdens as if they keep you alive. They have never saved you and they never will. But I am different. I do not just save you once. Whenever you need me, I am there. Every day, every hour, every minute, I am ready to fill your heart with new life. And when you feel yourself drifting far away, remember that the moment you call, I will answer. I will run toward you without delay, without hesitation. I will hold you, wipe away your tears, and whisper, you are never alone. Here in my presence is the peace you have been seeking all along. Not the fragile, fleeting peace of the world, but an unshakable peace, a safety that cannot be stolen. This place is not dependent on circumstances, not bound by time, not changed by people. It is eternal, for it is in me. And believe this, my child. My love for you does not fade with the years. Each day it is as fresh as in the beginning. No matter how many times you turn away, I will still wait. No matter how many times you are weak, I will still lift you. No matter how many times you despair, I will still believe in you. This love is not based on your worthiness, but on who I am, the one who never changes. So from this day, let me be the one you come to first. Let me be your anchor, your refuge, your harbor, where you know without doubt you are fully accepted. When you come, do not hurry away. Stay until your heart is truly filled. And when you go, go with a heart no longer afraid, for you know that whatever happens, I am still here, still loving you, still holding everything in my hands. You do not need to know every answer, for you know the one leading you. You do not need to see the whole road, for you know the hand holding yours is strong and kind. Just keep walking, my beloved, and trust that each step is bringing you to the very place I have prepared. And if ever you forget this, come back here, read these words again, and remember you have never been abandoned. You belong to me forever. My beloved child, I know every whisper that quietly slips into your mind like an underground stream that never stops flowing, seeking to erode your trust. I hear them saying, you've gone the wrong way. There's no way out. Everything is slipping beyond control. They speak with a false certainty, as though they understand everything, and they clothe themselves in the disguise of concern, so you will believe they are helping you. But my child, know this. They are only the faint echoes of fear amplified in the shadows, and those shadows always seek to cover your eyes, so you cannot see my light. Worry is never a faithful counselor. It has no map, knows no path, and cares nothing for the destination. It only leads you in circles through the maze of worst-case scenarios. The longer you walk those circles, the more weary and disoriented you become until you forget there was ever a way toward the light. Worry will tell you that if you think long enough, prepare thoroughly enough, you will be safe. But the truth is, the more you listen to it, the farther you drift from peace. Look back, has worry ever truly saved you from anything? Or has it only made your heart race, your hands grow cold, and your sleep vanish? Worry cannot prevent bad things from happening. It only steals the joy of the present and plants seeds of fear for tomorrow. It is a thief, silent yet persistent, and if you let it stay long enough, it will build a home inside your heart. But I am different. I am your wonderful counselor. I do not change with the weather of your life. I am not swayed by the shifts of the world or by fleeting emotions. I do not waver when the winds change direction. I stand firm, and it is in that unshakable strength that you can anchor yourself in the midst of every change. I see from the very beginning to the very end of your story, and everything in between is clear to me. There are no unexpected turns, no events that catch me off guard. When I say I am with you, it is not a passing phrase, it is an eternal covenant. I do not walk with you I do not stay with you I walk with you through the entire journey, through warm, sunny days and through storms along roads lined with flowers and along rocky, narrow paths. You must understand this. My love and my presence are not dependent on whether you get everything right. I do not wait for you to meet a standard before I stay by your side. I already knew there would be times you would step off course, yet I still chose to walk with you. It is precisely when you lose your way that you need me most, and I will never abandon you there. If I left you in your weakness, would my love still be whole? If I only walked with you when you were perfect, would my presence have any meaning? Picture yourself walking in a dense forest. Night falls, the path blurs, and the sounds of wild creatures echo, making you afraid. Worry will say, "You don't know the way. You'll be lost forever." But I take your hand and say, "I know the way. I will lead you out. You only need to walk." Worry will demand that you see the whole exit at once, but I teach you to trust step by step. Worry will paint pictures of every danger ahead, but I show you each safe footprint right before you. My child, I have seen how many times worry has stolen your peace. It makes you doubt what I have promised. It makes you think that circumstances are stronger than I am. But the truth is, no situation can overpower my power and my love for you. When you trust in me, you place your life in the hands of the one who never fails, never gives up, and never leaves you behind. Remember the times when you thought you would never make it through, and yet here you are, still breathing, still moving forward. That was not chance. It was because I was there, lifting you when you fell, steadying you when you were weak, carrying you when you could not walk. I have done this countless times in the past, and I will continue to do it in the future. Worry wants you to believe you are only safe if you control everything, but you cannot and you do not need to. You are safe because I am in control. You do not need to see the entire road ahead because I am already at the end of it and I know you will arrive. You do not need to predict every turn because I have gone ahead to prepare the way. I do not promise that you will avoid every trial, but I promise to turn every trial into a stepping stone leading you to the place I have prepared. I do not promise that every door you want will open, but I promise that the door I open will lead to what is best for you. I do not promise that storms will never come, but I promise to be your sure refuge within them. So when worry comes knocking at the door of your heart, ask it, "Have you ever saved me from anything?" And when it cannot answer, return to my voice, the voice that does not shout, does not push, but speaks with strength and certainty. Let me be the sound that guides you, the light that illuminates your path, the heartbeat of peace amid the chaos. My child, I began this story with you, and I will not stop until it is complete. There is no middle chapter that will make me quit. There is no wrong step that will turn me away. My love for you is tireless, limitless, and unconditional. Whether you are on the heights or in the depths, I am there. Whether you walk quickly or slowly, I match your pace. And even if you stop, I remain beside you, waiting to walk with you again. Give me the chance to prove how long worry has deceived you. Lay down the burden and let me carry it. Dare to believe that even when you do not understand, I am still working for your good. Dare to take a step, even a small one, and see that I always keep my word. You do not need to be strong enough to defeat worry on your own. You only need to be humble enough to hand it to me. And when you do, you will discover another kind of strength, not from your own striving, but from my presence. That strength will keep you steady, strip worry of its power, and open before you a path filled with peace. For I am your wonderful counselor. I do not waver, I do not change, and I have been, I am, and I will always walk with you through the whole journey, without stopping, without leaving forever. Can you see? The chaos you perceive is only on the surface. Beneath it, I am working silently but relentlessly. I am untangling, healing, preparing the way. There are things I have not yet revealed, not because you are unworthy to know, but because your heart still needs time to be ready. I am not in a rush, nor am I delayed. I arrive at the perfect time, the moment when goodness can bloom in its fullest beauty. So open your heart. Don't keep the inner rooms locked. Don't let fear make you bar the door against me. I know there are places in your heart you've kept sealed, memories, regrets, pain, you've hidden away thinking they are too messy, too dark, too disappointing for me to enter. But child, those are the very places I long to come. Not to judge, but to bring light. Not to accuse, but to cleanse. Not to shame, but to give you rest. I come not with demands but with tenderness, not with pounding fists but with a gentle invitation. Let me in. I will not force my way. I will wait. I will stand at the door of your heart, patient as a father who never gives up. And when you are ready, even if you open just a sliver, I will step in with all the gentleness of love. I will trade your worry for stillness. I will replace darkness with light. I will silence the conflicting voices with the clarity of truth, not all at once, but day by day, step by step, breath by breath. Don't wait until you're okay to let me in. Don't believe you need more faith, more strength, more clarity to be close to me. Just be who you are, honest, fragile, weary, tangled, and still I choose you. And as you walk with me, it's not that everything around you will instantly calm, but your heart will be filled with the assurance that I know where you're going, I know what I'm doing, and you can trust in that. You won't have to live exhausted from trying to understand everything. You won't have to deplete yourself holding everything together, because I will hold you, I will guide you, I will rebuild, from what's broken continue the story you thought had ended. Your future is not ruined. It is being written by a hand wiser, kinder, and more patient than you know, and that hand is mine. So be still in your heart, look to me, trust me. Everything I have begun in you I will bring to completion, because I do not abandon my work halfway. I don't start something only to forget it. I do not create a child only to leave them struggling alone. You are my beloved masterpiece, shaped not only by power but by mercy, by faithfulness, and by a love that will never fade. So, my child, let me in. Don't close your heart anymore. Don't block me with walls of fear or layers of doubt. You don't need all the answers. You just need me, and me you will always have. Now lift your eyes and speak to me what lies deepest in your heart. No need to hide, no need to edit, just be honest. Almighty God, nothing is beyond your providence. I come to you not with answers, but with a soul longing to rest in you. I am weary of trying to understand everything, of always having to be strong when all I want is to collapse into my Father's arms. Please teach me that I don't need to be in control. I only need to trust, shatter every illusion of self-reliance. Take away my need to see the ending before I'm willing to step forward. I want to surrender not only my plans, but also the way I think things should unfold. Let my faith grow not by clarity, but by knowing you more each day. Loving Father, the one who listens even when I only sigh in the dark, I come to you, not with eloquence, but with a heart full of anxiety. I've lived too long in the cage of what if and what might happen. I've placed too much trust in fear. But today I choose to draw near to you. Please help me discern which voice is yours and which one belongs to the enemy sowing doubt. Give me a heart that is soft, not led by emotion, but guided by your truth. Grant me peace, not the kind that comes when everything is fixed, but the kind that is found in you, even in the midst of the storm. Faithful Father, you who wrote my story before I was ever formed, forgive me for the many times I refused to let you continue writing it. I tried to hold the pen to rewrite the ending, to draw chapters I thought were better, but the more I wrote, the more I lost my way. Today I place the pen back in your hands. I no longer want to write by my own will. I believe your pages for me are far better than anything I could imagine. Write with truth, with grace, and with an unchanging love. Thank you, beloved Father, for never leaving me alone with my worries. In the moments I felt forgotten, you were still caring for me in the most silent of ways. I thank you for the peace I could never manufacture on my own. I thank you for coming, not when I was strong, but when I was at my weakest. I thank you for the unconditional love that always welcomes me home, even when I've doubted, withdrawn, or fallen. God of grace, I thank you for not growing weary of my slow-to-believe heart. Thank you for being patient, gentle, and willing to wait as I grow step by step, day by day. Thank you for being the one I can lean on without hiding, without pretending. Thank you for never letting any of my pain be wasted. You have used it all to draw me closer to you. Lord, the light in my darkness, the peace in my storm. I thank you for being there not only in the miracles, but also in the silence. I thank you that even when I cannot see, you are still working, you are still writing. You are still holding. You are still loving. And that is enough for me to say, thank you for your mercy endures forever. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.